Working from home can create a lot of challenges as far as our space and our boundaries that we have between work and leisure, and between understanding what's our work life and what's our personal life. That's why it's so critical to create physical boundaries. And I know for some people, they might feel like, well, I just don't have the space in my house or in my apartment or my condo, whatever it is. But it's important to designate certain areas as your work areas. Why is that so important? Because it's conditioning. There's something called conditioning, which you condition your mind to associate different things with different things. For example, they have found that people that work in the bed actually have a harder time sleeping. Why? Because when the person lays down, their mind doesn't associate their bed with rest. They associate their bed with working. So it happens to everyone in life that we have these associations. For example, you might have a song that when you listen to it, you get all fired up, you feel good. Or you might remember back a time in high school or something like that. Or you might have a song that you listen to and it causes a little nostalgia, maybe creates even a little sadness or something like that. We associate every single thing in our life, whether it's something positive or negative, but we also associate things like productivity, places we rest. It triggers our body and our mind to know when to rest and when we have to be productive. So if we have specific boundaries in our lives, for example, we have a little desk or even a kitchen or something that we work in, but if we associate that, as soon as we sit down with our laptop or whatever it is that we use to work, our mind says it's time to be productive. It's time to kick up to another gear to let the mind know that we are going to be working. And so if you separate these things, when you sit on the couch, for example, to watch something or sit on the couch to talk and kind of relax, your mind is not associating the couch and that environment to a work environment. It's associating it with a relaxed environment, just like your bedroom, associating it with a relaxation environment, associating the work environment then with a work environment. It's also important, not just because of associations, it's because you want to be able to separate yourself. For example, once you leave your working space, you leave your job. People who work a 9 to 5 and they go to a space or cubicle, whatever, it's very easy to disconnect because they leave that space. So when they get home, they're home. But people that work from home, whether it's an entrepreneur or somebody who's a contractor or whatever it is, it's a little bit harder because when you're working from home, you can't just walk away from your bedroom. You can't walk away from your living room. You can't, because it's also your living space. So it's important that you have a space where you're able to walk away from that space that lets your mind know that it's okay. I'm leaving my work environment. I'm shifting over to my personal environment. And again, your brain is conditioned to do that. So the better you can do that, the more productive you're going to be. And the more relaxed you can be when you're not working. Because that's another thing that happens to a lot of people that work from home is that they're not able to de-stress and be relaxed because they're always in that workspace. So if you create a separate workspace, you'll be able to feel that emotion, feel that sensation. Your body will be able to wind down and relax when you're no longer at work. Very important. Another thing to keep in mind when it comes to physical boundaries and workspace is that it is vitally important to declutter. Actually, there's been a lot of studies, including a Princeton study, that has shown that people that are not cluttered, declutter their space and have a clean space significantly outperform those that have clutter in their space. And some people say, well, I know where things are. You might know where things are, but reality is that study after study shows that if you have a cluttered space, you're not going to be productive. Therefore, keep that in mind as you create that space, that you want to have a space that's obviously your workspace, but you also want to have a space that's a clean work environment. And some people say, well, I don't want to go to work in the morning or whenever you do start work, and the first thing I do is declutter and organize everything. But it could be one of the most powerful things that you do. Because if you can be more productive and more efficient, if you do that, in your 8 hours, you'll accomplish, or in 6 or 5, 4 hours, whatever it is your workday, you accomplish a lot more by taking that extra 15 minutes to declutter and organize if that's what it takes you. So keep that in mind, very important. Set physical boundaries, because if you do, you're not only going to be more productive, but you're also going to create less stress and overwhelm in your own life. Hope that helps.